Takeda, masters of prostitution, horses. My favourite Shogun 2 clan due to their cavalry superiority, and their fancy red colour of course. Hi, my name is MrSmartDonkey and today we're going to be taking a look at the ins and outs of the Takeda. As per usual, we'll start with the Takeda's clan traits. The Takeda are indeed the masters of horses, which makes sense since all their traits are tailored towards improving cavalry. Improved morale for cavalry and can recruit superior cavalry do what you might expect from a description like that. The Takeda's cavalry has higher morale and higher overall stats compared to the cavalry of other clans. Reduced recruitment costs and upkeep for all cavalry doesn't require rocket scientists to decode either. Recruitment costs and upkeep will be cheaper for the Takeda's cavalry compared to other clans. Next up is the campaign. The Takeda's capital is Kai, a decent province in a rather difficult starting location, being surrounded by 4 different clans. But we'll get to that in a moment. Kai's soil is average, and it has a pastures building, giving it horses as a trade resource, which is by far the most valuable resource when selling trade rights to other clans. The resource itself isn't that valuable, but it's a resource wanted by all clans, which drives up its price. Kai also starts with stables, allowing you to recruit light cavalry from the get-go. Moving on to your neighbours, of which you have, like I said before, 4. Let's start with your southwestern neighbour, the Imagawa, who you're allied with at the start of the campaign. They own both Suruga as well as Totomi. Totomi is a fairly unnoteworthy province, but Suruga has a school, a valuable building to have. The Imagawa also have a vassal, the Tokugawa, who own Mikawa. This is important because both the Imagawa as well as the Tokugawa start at war with the Oda, and the Oda tend to win that war, meaning you can expect them to be your southwestern neighbours before long. Your other southern neighbour is the Hojo, who own both Izu as well as Sagami. Both incredibly valuable provinces, with Izu usually becoming one of the wealthiest regions on the map due to the gold mine, and Sagami having a blacksmith. The Hojo tend to be friendly towards you, and might even go for an alliance since they tend to get one with the Imagawa as well. It's your choice whether you want to take that and secure the south through friendship, or go a different route and take them all out so you can keep their valuable provinces for yourself. Keep in mind that if you're the one to break an alliance, you will suffer a hit to both your daimyo's honor as well as diplomatic standing with other clans. There's no road that actually connects your lands to the Hojos, but it's worth mentioning them anyway. Your eastern neighbours in Musashi are the Ogikayatsu. Musashi doesn't have anything special besides a port, so it shouldn't be a main focus. What's more, they usually get taken out by the Hojo fairly early on, which gives you the road connection to the Hojo I mentioned just now. Lastly, to your north are the Murakami, who are your sole enemy at the start of the campaign. They start with a small force just inside your province, which you must defeat to complete your first mission. After taking North Shinano, you will be bordering another 4 clans, the Usugi being the most notable. They are likely to declare war on you because they are programmed to dislike the Takeda for historical accuracy purposes. Because of this, you might want to ignore the Murakami and let them keep their province so that you don't have to worry about all the clans to the north and you can focus on the south. As long as you keep a few units in Kai, you should be able to defend against them. Unless of course you decide to become friends with the southern clans, in which case north should be your main focus. North is the more logical and less risky expansion path, but the southern provinces are more valuable, so it's up to you to decide what you value more, safety or riches. Finally, a quick look at the family tree. The Takeda have one of the better family trees in the game. Your 24-year-old daimyo, Takeda Shinjin, is an absolute beast due to his bloodthirsty trait, reducing the morale of all nearby enemy units. He also has the lucky trait, giving him minus 2% chance of being assassinated. On top of all that, he's fathered his first child at the age of 15, meaning your oldest son is already 9 years old enough to come of age in a reasonably short time. He had another kid just a year later, but she's a girl, so who cares, am I right? Your second general is Shinjin's 20-year-old brother, and to make things even better, he has another brother at the age of 16, who should come of age just a few turns into the campaign. An absolutely wonderful family tree. Let's move on to the Takeda specific units, of which there are 5. Note there is no Takeda Great Guard. There were plans to put them in a game at one point or another, but due to an error by CA it never happened. First up are the Takeda Light Cavalry, which have received a buff of +2 morale, +1 melee attack and +1 melee defense compared to their vanilla counterpart. Nothing major, but since Light Cavalry are already a great unit in the early game, this makes them even stronger. And since their upkeep is 25% lower as well, they will play a big part in your early game battles. Next up are the Takeda Bow Cavalry, whose buffs are +2 morale, +5 reload skill and +5 accuracy, as well as slightly increased melee stats, which is actually noteworthy, since a valid tactic with Bow Cavalry is to charge them into some archers or other units after firing a few volleys, which can easily break a unit if it does enough damage. The increased stats will help achieve that goal. Next are the Takeda Katana Cavalry, who have received +2 morale, +2 melee attack and +1 melee defense as their buffs. I've voiced my opinion on Katana Cavalry many times before, and these small buffs don't change my opinion on them. You're much better off using Yari Cavalry. That being said, if you're gonna make the mistake of using Katana Cavalry, the Takeda are the clan to do it with. The final units have received an upgrade as the aforementioned Yari Cavalry, whose buffs are much more impressive than those of the Katana Cavalry. +2 morale, +3 melee attack, +1 melee defense and +5 charge bonus. Yari Cavalry were already incredible, but these buffs make the unit even better to the point where you start feeling bad for other clans. If that wasn't enough, say hello to the Takeda Fire Cavalry, one of the best units in Shogun 2. and completely unique to the Takeda. Their closest comparison is Yari Cavalry. Compared to vanilla Yari Cavalry, they have +2 morale, +4 melee attack, +3 melee defense, and +2 armor. What's more, they encourage nearby units similar to a general. All in all, Takeda Fire Cav are an insane unit, and one of my favorite units in the entire game. Finally, I want to recommend some army compositions. I will start by saying this: Cavalry, Cavalry, Cavalry. More specifically, Light Cavalry, Yari Cavalry, Fire Cavalry. In the early game, you'll want to field your general Yari and Boa Ashigaru army and have some Light Cav to back them up. You won't need too many yet, since you need to make sure you have enough Yari Ashigaru to hold the line. Getting to the later game, you'll want to start replacing most of your archers with cavalry. You could even decide not to field any archers at all and go for fully aggressive armies with extra melee attack and charge. I wouldn't recommend going very defensive because cavalry are meant as an aggressive unit, and going defensive would mean archers over cavalry. You could go for a more balanced army and keep a few bow infantry units in your army, just to give you some more options, but rather than doing that, I recommend fielding a few bow cavalry. Or you could go fully aggressive, which is my preferred choice. Don't field any range units and go heavy on the charge bonuses. It's a risky strategy because it leaves you with very few options, but boy is it satisfying charging your infantry in the front, your cavalry around the back, and seeing hundreds or even thousands of men die in a matter of seconds. That is going to do it for the Takeda clan overview. I hope you've seen the light and start playing some Takeda. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and I shall do my best to answer them. Also let me know which clan you'd like to see covered next. Thank you very much for watching, hope you've enjoyed, have a good day and goodbye.